Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Pitch, Season 1, Episode 6. It's called Wear It. Full spoilers for the episode will follow. I'm going to start off with a bold statement here, Connor.
Go on.
This was the best episode of this show yet.
I don't think that's a bold statement,
You,
frankly.
you think that's an easy statement? Okay.
I was watching this, I was like, this is really good.
Do you know, I thought the first half was good. Like, the first half was, enjoyable. I was into it. And I liked the fact that it played on the flashback formula by having the main story actually be the regular one, and then it kind of flash forwarding to this, therapist session.
Yeah, it's like 48 hours apart.
Yeah. Teasing, why is she in therapy? Like, what's happened?
Yeah.
And it's funny, because in the previously ons, they show, the whole thing with the pictures with the ex-boyfriend. And I was thinking, I bet that's a red herring. I bet because they mentioned a video in the therapy bit at the start. I'm like, I bet it's not that. I bet there's something new that happens. That's
Yeah.
the trick is to the point that when it actually did come up at the end of the episode, I was actually almost surprised. I was like, whoa, that was a double swerve.
Yeah, it was a red herring, but then it's coming anyway.
Yeah, that was interesting. But no, I liked that they played with that, and obviously we see Jenny go through these 2 days, and we see everything that happens to her. But I think the reason why this ended up being the best episode yet for me is because it actually got kind of, not deep, but I felt it. I had feelings. There was feels felt.
It felt important,
Yeah, it felt
but
important.
at the same time, it was like a lot of fun throughout most of the episode.
It was. If I'm going to criticize anything, and this is a minor criticism, but I feel like because of the structure and we have, it's like her in the therapy session with this therapist because of something that's happened, and we keep flashing back as she's kind of telling the story. She's kind of reluctantly telling her, but we're seeing the 2 days play out. At one point, we actually go off with Mike and see what he's doing,
Yeah,
and I think just with the narrative structure, that's kind of weird. It doesn't quite work.
it
But
doesn't quite fit. It's sort of like, well, I'll allow it, but
yeah, it's a minor complaint, but it's something that occurred to me when he goes off to see his ex-wife. I'm like, this is a bit odd. How would Jenny know about this, and why would she be telling her it?
it's not really relevant to your story here.
Yeah. That said, though, I actually thought the scene with him and her themselves were fine. I actually thought they were good scenes.
Yeah, I did as well, which is why you kind of excuse it a little bit easier, don't you?
Yeah, you let it go. So Jenny's just signed a deal with Nike. She's going to only wear their stuff, and they're giving her a new glove, shoes, the whole shebang. And I'm not entirely sure what the ins and outs of these deals are, but it seems like she's only allowed to be publicly
Yeah,
photographed wearing that kind of
pretty
stuff.
much how they work, yeah.
I assume she can still wear non-brand stuff, but she's just not allowed to wear.
And like opposing brands, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If she shows up in just a plain white shirt, they're not going to complain, I imagine.
No, but show up in like Adidas. Maybe not.
Adidas. I would say Adidas.
It's one of those. It's the Nike and Nike.
Yeah. I used to say Nike. And then I feel like I've just seen enough people or heard enough people say Nike that I've just kind of switched. Whereas Adidas, I'm just always going to say Adidas.
So yeah, it's one of those things where they're equally 50-50 for me.
Yeah. I don't know. But, so we see her have this deal, and later that night she has a panic attack in her hotel room. Which leads to some drama with Amelia and Mike, because she calls Amelia, and then Mike mentions it on the next game, are you okay? Are you breathing okay? It's
Like having a panic attack.
he's worried that she's going to go into a panic attack. But the whole thing is just kind of the stress of everything that we've kind of since the first episode. This idea that she's now this public figure, and even the commercial that Nike make for her, promoting her, it's Obama, the first black president.
Yeah, it starts with the first black man in baseball,
which
You're
is fine, comparable. Yeah,
makes sense. And then it goes first woman on the moon or
space.
in space, or
Yeah.
right? First woman in space. It's like, okay.
That's a bit more impressive than baseball.
And then first black president, and then you. That's your direct comparison there. You go president, you.
Yeah, bit much, a bit on the nose there. And
I did appreciate the whole thing. Like you said, it's been building since episode 1, and this felt really earned, and it made sense to tackle this.
Yeah, so the whole idea that she's feeling pressure of all this, and she's given this extremely fancy, expensive dress that's been rented out for her. Amelia's went and got for her, and she has to wear this. She has to wear Nike stuff. She has to, she's going to this party where her face is like everywhere. Like there's posters of her up, celebrating this deal, and it all like she almost gets a little bit unlikable to a point where she starts snapping at people and she's clearly not enjoying things. Which, by the way, that reminds me, just before we go on, Blip and Evelyn are becoming two of the funniest characters on this show. Both of them are cracking me up.
Oh my god! When Amelia comes in to talk to Ginny and they're talking about Mike, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna stay right here because I don't want to miss this."
Yeah, that was funny. It was even, she phrased it even funnier than that though. It was, I am not going to excuse myself because I'm going to listen to this. But even before that, the bit I relate with her is she, when Ginny mentions that Mike and Amelia are sleeping together, she goes, yeah, Blip already figured it out.
The what?
Yeah, she overreacted and then went, yeah, Blip already figured it out.
Yeah.
But that's what was funny later on is Blip figures out they broke up after, talking about how good it was that he was with her. It's like, oh, you just broke up, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're cracking me up.
I agree. I tell you who else was cracking me up this episode. Elliot.
Ah, right, okay, yeah.
I don't know. He was just proper cracking me up.
I don't know if he was cracking me up. I did like the end of his story, though. Because at first I thought, oh, we're just having, like, he's trying to chat up this secretary for Nike, or the assistant for Nike. And, like, I wasn't sure what the point was, to just give him a little story. Because, he's not really had his own plots so far.
Not really done anything, yeah.
Yeah. But it all really became about him trying to actually get something for himself and not be too shy to ask for something. Like, the actual asking her out was really just like a metaphor for, or an analogy for what he ended up doing later in the episode. Because Amelia flat out says something along the lines of, I've worked years to get her to this place, like completely dismissing any input he's had on it, anything he's done towards this. And he just, maybe snaps isn't the right word, but he just like, no, wait, like I don't need thanks for my job, but no, respect.
Yeah.
And he gets a raise, and I felt proud for him.
And a job title.
And a job title. Yeah. So no, I liked his stuff. But yeah, so Jenny runs into Lindsay Fonseca. Our name in this is Cara.
Yes.
But she's Lindsay Fonseca. That's just who I know her as. And it was funny because when she first popped in, I was like, that's a really big actress to have this little waitress role.
Yeah, I was there. I was like, this is set it up as a bit part, but that would be a nobody.
Yeah, it was really weird because they have that little joke where she comes in and says, hello, and Jenny assumes that it's for a photograph because that's what everyone's been doing, and that's a funny little moment. It's fine.
Yeah.
But of course she ends up running off with her and goes and plays Mario Kart and various other things at this house party.
So it seems very accurate to parties in my experience, frankly. The last one I went to also ended up playing Mario Kart on the way, so...
It's a staple of parties these days. If you happen to own a Nintendo console, Mario Kart tends to get broken out in this company. But no, so all this plays out, and it's all good stuff with her, like letting loose, and you kind of get the sense that she's finally... It's almost like she's finally doing something that isn't baseball related, and she's kind of letting herself be relieved about it.
Yeah, and do you know what? You get the sense that it is fun, because you have fun watching her have fun.
Yeah. None of it doesn't feel like she's having a breakdown. It never feels like, oh, she's acting out and doing weird things. It's, no. She's jumping in a pool. She's playing a video game. She's, you know, simple party games. She's doing these simple, normal things that she doesn't have a chance to do normally because she's got this strict schedule. She's meant to be up at this time, go here, do that. And as she says later on in the episode, she's like, I know what I'm doing in a year from now. I know what I'm doing in 10 years probably. Until my career's over, I'll be doing the exact same thing for the next whatever. And that's kind of part of her dilemma in this, is that she's... it's like the pressure's bad enough, and that's kind of the obvious thing, but really she finally opens up to the therapist and says, I don't really know, I'm not 100% sure this is actually what I want to do. It's just kind of...
it's just a commitment thing, isn't it?
It's almost just been her autopilot, because that's what her dad wanted. Dad died, obviously she's going to keep doing it. But now she's like faced with all this in her future, and it's like, well... Did I stop and think about this?
Yeah.
But the standout scene of this episode that I want to talk about is the scene that sort of ends the previously sort of timeline before
Yeah.
it jumps to present day. When she goes into the office and they're talking about the video that looked online, and we see it's hard, her jumping in the pool with the basketball, and I wasn't sure why this was a big deal at first until they actually mentioned
Yeah.
that she was wearing.
Someone else's sneakers. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I was going to say
What
trainers there, and I said, "Oh, I better say
it
sneakers."
I felt that as well.
Yeah, I better say sneakers.
I,
So the
I consciously had to
yeah,
like make myself say that then.
yeah. For those who don't know, in the UK you call sneakers trainers.
Yeah.
But that's a bit of interest for you.
I think we should just go neutral and just call them running shoes.
No, too many syllables. Too many.
Yeah.
But right, so obviously it's a big deal, and and one of the things just before this scene is that Lindsay Fonseca's character drove her all the way to the stadium in the middle of the night when she was passed out because she kind of got the sense that this was important to her, that she'd not miss her training in the morning and she'd be there for like everything she's been meant to do. And you get the sense that maybe she's building a friend, and maybe why they've cast her is because we're going to see her again, because she is going to be this new friend figure that she has.
I think I'd be more surprised if we didn't see her at some point.
Yeah, it feels like too much of a big casting decision to just have her this one episode. And
Yeah, just just as a recurring role, like
Yeah.
episode here, episode there.
so yeah, so that was kind of sweet. I actually kind of liked that moment when she wakes up and she realizes she's there. It was cool. It was like she'd actually made a friend. I was almost expecting a dark turn at some point because she did just run off with a stranger from a party. Like that's essentially what happened.
Yeah, and TV shows have trained us to expect the worst.
Yeah, they have. But that's it. So I'll talk about this video, and like Al, Oscar, Amelia, they're all, the new owner dude sitting at his desk. They're all like being very serious about this. And she's like, "What? It's just what's wrong with the video? It's jumping in I'll make
Yeah,
up for
it's
the
not
shoes."
that bad.
And as Amelia even says, people seem to love it. They think it's fun. Yeah, which it is. There's nothing wrong with it. Well, not that video, this one. And I'm like, huh? And I'm not gonna lie, as she watched this video, my heart kind of sank as she kept speaking because it's exactly the sort of thing that she can't really let get out. And also rushing through my head as it was playing, and she says things like, "I'm not sure if I want to do this. I don't want to go back."
You're like, please don't let this be online.
Well, I almost assumed it already was. I was like, wait, did Cara leak this? She
Yeah,
seemed
and
nice.
I was like, she drove her here, but then put this on? That's a real dick move.
Yeah, like that is a total bitch move. That is like awful. Why would she put that online? And then she says, "Is it online or she whatever?" And then she specifically says, "Did Cara put this online?" Like she's
Yeah.
even asking the same question I was.
She's as horrified as we were, yeah.
Yeah. And the room is tense as hell. And she says, "No, she gave it to us." And deleted it from the cloud and all that. It's gone, like,
Yeah.
because she cares about you. And I kind of liked that the message was kind of uplifting. It's like, no, some people aren't awful. Some people are actually quite nice.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But the entire scene had me like kind of like I was in it. I
Yeah.
felt it in my stomach. I was.
And I believe that all the others, they weren't just there because she was an investment to the team. Like, they genuinely cared.
Yeah. Because even the new boss guy, who we don't really know that much yet, even at one point he says that they care about her both in terms of economical reasons, but also just caring
Morally.
about her. Yeah, morally, we have to look out for her.
Yeah.
And I actually quite liked the debates they were having when she wasn't there.
Yeah, like, what should we do?
Yeah, because I was like, no, I've already put my foot in my mouth once by trying to like treat her differently. Let her just do this as normal. And Oscar's like, no, we should do this because we need to try and protect. And like that debate was very interesting
Yeah, it actually really was.
because it's like, yeah, I mean they've both got compelling arguments why they should or shouldn't do something. And what
Yeah,
do you do?
both made sense as, like, you could understand either viewpoint, which makes it more interesting.
Yeah, because Oscar just wasn't, he wasn't just being sexist or something. He was, his concerns were valid. And
Yeah,
it seemed,
it's-
you know,
It felt, both reactions felt like something they would have done to a male player in a similar situation.
yeah. So no, very, very good scene. Very emotional scene. Very tense scene. And I loved it. I always love it when a show or a movie or whatever can do a tense scene that's about something that's not actually that it's not life threatening. It's not end of the world. It's not.
It's not really that dramatic.
Yeah, it's not someone's in danger, but because of what it means to the characters, your heart's still sinking.
Yeah.
So no props. This was a fantastic hour of TV.
Yeah, it really was.
It was great. And of course, the scene after that is when we come back to present day, and she's talking with the therapist, and she finally, comes out with all this stuff about I'm not 100% sure if I want to do this, and she's like, that's fine, but now you can deal with that. You can ask yourself that question and think about it.
Aye.
You don't have to quit today if you do decide you don't want to do this. You have time. But no, all that ideas, all of it was very, very good, and we had that cover of the Rolling Stones playing.
Yeah, I don't know who it was that cover, but I really liked it.
Joe, what's funny about it is I didn't even realise it was a cover until the vocals came in.
I didn't either.
Because it sounds like the original song.
It just sounds like a little bit cleaner.
Yeah,
I just thought it was just I was like, oh, maybe there was a remaster.
Because obviously that thing with old songs is they have that kind of, just that old sound to them.
Sound.
Yeah. So it just sounded like a sort of cleaner version, but to the point where it's mixed in with the rest of the soundtrack, that's maybe I'm just not hearing it as well as you normally would. But then the female vocals came in, I was like, oh, that's different. But no, it's that song's actually very, very good. Like, it does this thing where as soon as those opening notes start coming in, it feels like it's building to something good.
It's almost cliche in how it's used in these moments. So.
But it works, and having a female vocals was a nice touch given the premise of the show.
Yeah, but then having the bad news.
Yeah, this was the perfect capper to the episode, because obviously after this scene, we see Ginny breaking in her new glove because she didn't want to use the new glove because the glove she was using was the one that her dad gave her, for sentimental reasons. But we see that she's breaking it in. She sort of accepted, okay, I'm doing this, and that's fine. Yeah. She's dealing with things, and Amelia comes over and says, "Oh, by the way, your selfies with your ex-boyfriend have leaked online, and they're going out." And she pauses for a moment. It's a really good bit of acting, actually. She kind of for a moment, she looks kind of stressed, and then she smiles, and she says what else she got. That was what she was saying during the party. Like every time she successfully completed a party game or task.
Yeah.
She said that, so it was a nice sort of through line to that.
Yeah, this whole episode tied together fantastically well.
Even the title, Wear It, which oddly, I almost wish they'd call it Just Do It. Because it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because that's essentially what this is. It's her being like, you know what, no, just do it. That's essentially...
Yeah.
I'm almost... This is almost a 40-minute commercial for Nike.
To a degree, yeah.
Almost. But
I dread to think how much they paid.
Hey, if it keeps the show going an extra few episodes, why complain?
It's almost good in this show because obviously there are a few shows that have done product placement fantastically in the past.
Yeah,
it's rare, but there's a few.
Either they make a joke out of it, like Chuck and Subway, or other ones like that. But
yeah, but this show in general lends itself to product placement because that is the world that this is in.
Yeah, even their outfits are supposed to have logos on them and stuff, so it feels natural. Yeah. So no, it's just her saying what else she got, and it's a sort of uplifting thing where, okay, I've not got everything figured out. There is pressure, but
yeah,
I need to take it in my stride. I need to not swim against the current. I need to go with the flow. To borrow some metaphors from Quarry, which you all should have been watching. Season 1 just finished. Go watch Quarry. It was on Cinemax. It was very, very good.
Yeah, it was pretty damn fantastic.
But yeah, and
but
also
this was pretty good too.
This was pretty great too, and also just the idea that she's not alone, that she has people she can trust and confide in. Whether it's a new friend, whether it's Amelia, because obviously she is somewhat over the whole Mike thing. Obviously,
Evelyn as well.
Yeah, we should mention that they broke up as well. This episode.
Oh, well, we did kind of because we mentioned Blip.
Oh yeah, but I mean, the actual what it led to, and
right, okay.
Yeah, because they break up, and I was almost thinking, they'll be back together by the end of the episode or whatever. But the way it plays out, where he goes to see his ex-wife, I'm not sure if that'll happen now.
No, me either.
Because it felt like Mike's, because he even says he's still hung up on his ex-wife, but but it seems like this is going to be more of a personal journey for him, and like, you know, because his ex-wife points out, like, she analyzes him and says, like, you love to chase things, but you don't like keeping them. As soon as you get something, you throw it away, because it's the thrill of the chase that interests you. But maybe he will come back to Amelia. Maybe it'll be with her that he tries to change.
Yeah, maybe that's the end of his kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Makes sense.
But I love that he was referencing this movie where an ex-baseball player shows up to, or the ex-husband who's a baseball player shows up to his wife's dinner party. Like, he constantly was referencing
it's like,
it.
oh my god, this is the exact same thing.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. That was good. Yeah, this was a really good episode. This was best episode of the show yet.
Yeah, definitely.
Well put together, well paced, well structured. Everything thematically came together at the end of the episode. Yeah, solid stuff. So
it's really hard to argue with any of this.
Yeah, no, it's great. So I guess we'll just end with this raving review with saying, we'll be definitely sticking around with Pitch for a while. There's always that grace period for the first few episodes where we might drop something. Not that this was in danger of it, because this has been pretty good since it started, but this is
safe.
We're in for the season now.
Yeah,
easily. So that's Pitch episode 6. So let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.